and welcome to the ESCAPUZZLED podcast, your one-stop shop for all things escape room, immersive, and tabletop games. Today you are joined by me, that's Helena, Corey, my fabulous co-host.
Hello. And also joining us are Lisa and Anna from Scarlet Envelope, the Montreal-based postal escape company whose Kickstarter campaign reached 3,000% of their initial goal. Their first game series consists of 13 elegant scarlet red envelopes, each containing its own adventure, ranging from murder mysteries to galactic space war prevention. Welcome to the podcast, ladies. How are we doing today?
Hey, we're happy to be here.
Thank you for tuning in from all over the world this evening. So we massively appreciate you guys being here.
Yay, thank you for having us.
As always, here on the ESCAPUZZLED podcast, we love to get to know our guests in the escape room environment because I feel like that's the best way you get to know someone in a nice, quick way. So we've got a selection of quickfire questions, which as always never end up being quickfire, but we'll try our very best. The first one of which is our player stereotype. So this is how a person is in an escape room. So, what would you guys say is your player stereotype within an escape room?
I'm definitely a puzzle nerd, and Anna is like a half clumsy, a half leader. She's like non-clumsy leader.
Oh my god, that's literally a definition. This is my new job title, I think. A clumsy leader of Scarlet Envelope.
That's going in the LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, put that on a pin.
Yeah, I want business cards with this, Lisa. Please add it to the scope of work of yours. The endless
No.
work.
A never-ending list.
So we've spoken about your stereotype. When you are playing games, what is the one theme that you've got to go play?
I love sci-fi.
I was about to say sci-fi as well.
Sci-fi is not one that we often get, surprisingly, because I feel like sci-fi is often related to technology, which in an escape room environment can be very touch and go.
Can you give any shout outs to your favorite sci-fi room or tabletop game?
Wow, this is going to be such a weird answer from me because, this company doesn't exist anymore. And that room, I'm sure, does not exist anymore. So it's just something that we played really long time ago. It was actually out of all places in Russia, like maybe 10 years ago. And the setup was a spaceship and it was incredibly hard. And yeah, it was wonderful, just so immersive. I think that's about what I love I just love sci-fi. You know what? The answer is easy, yeah. And the game immerses me in the sci-fi environment and makes me feel like I'm a legit on a spaceship. Yes, sign me up.
I thoroughly love a space game. Absolutely love it, because I feel like you can't really underdo set design with space. You kind of have to go all out. And then it's super immersive and super enjoyable. We were saying on a previous episode, it would be great if somebody could put an escape game in one of those zero gravity planes so that you also get the simulation of no gravity whilst playing
You
a
have to
space
play 10
game.
seconds and you stop, and then 10 seconds again and you stop.
Just constantly slamming into the floor.
I think I've got this though.
Actually, fun fact, the first game that we ever created was our third one in the series, Distress Call from Outer Space. So that was a sci-fi theme.
We were so into Expanse back then. We were like, let's do
the show Expanse.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of homage to that, yeah.
Wait, did you say that you designed number 3 first?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, our whole series is connected. Even though you can play standalone games, there's still an overarching theme of the secret society going on in the background. So we couldn't just, slap you with the sci-fi game as a chapter 1. We still needed some foreplay before that, something to
That's fair.
set the mood. So yeah, we just kept it for game 3. And honestly, right now when I'm looking at it, it's way too hard to be a third episode in the series. Way too hard. I am sure we're scaring off so many newbies, but this is what it is.
It was the first game I played of yours, and I was like, "Oh, they have set the bar."
It is challenging, right?
Yeah, it's certainly challenging. It was a thoroughly enjoyable challenge, though. It was the right level of difficulty for me. I feel like some companies tend to go too easy just to sort of please the masses, and some companies go like ridiculously difficult to where the logic jumps don't make sense. But it was the right level of difficulty in my opinion, or at least for somebody who plays a lot of escape games.
Yeah, we cater to enthusiasts, so the difficulty is definitely not what you usually see in a mass-produced game, that's for sure. Still, it's hard to scale that though, from the business perspective.
From a business perspective, not ideal, I can imagine, but from an enthusiast perspective, it's nice to be seen. Nice to not be playing games made for the masses. It's nice to have something different and unique and very beautifully made, I must add.
No, thank you, thank you.
You can tell the amount of detail you guys go into, like the wedding murder mystery one with like the actual evidence and stuff. I opened it
Yeah.
up and I was like, no way. I felt like I was investigating an actual crime scene. It was crazy.
I'm glad. And you still haven't played our first murder mystery, that is game 4, Breakfast for a Serial Killer, right?
Yeah, that is next on the list.
That one, you know what? I personally think that game 10 is made better just because we had like 2 more years of experience of designing games. So we polished the shit out of that one. But game 4 is still everybody's favorite murder mystery. I'm curious why. Please, if we have any of our subscribers listening to us, please DM us and tell us, why do you love that one so much? I mean, I like it as well. I just feel like
We're not complaining, but
we're not complaining. Thank you, but I think we did better with game 10, probably because of the videos though in game 4. It's just that game 10 has audio recordings of the suspects, right? And the chatbot to question them, and game 4 has some videos in them, and I think that's what sells it, maybe.
the immersion level, maybe.
Yeah, it's always the immersion level, right?
Totally quick, super fast, quick fire question that I'm just slotting in here anyway. Do you guys have a favorite episode, personally?
For me, it's number 7 or 11 that we just released.
For me, number 7 definitely, and also number 9. So the 7th one is Tale of a Golden Dragon, and it's like a kind of an open world adventure. It's always hard to describe it. It's still a puzzle game. It's still an escape room, but we have a map with locations, and you can travel online, choosing these
What?
squares on the map and just travel to almost each of these locations on the map.
I have it right in front of me, and I feel like I might play this after the recording is finished.
Do that, and please tell me your thoughts about after that. We always love hearing about this game. It's a really quirky one. We really tried to make it like lighthearted and lovely, and it was such a great change of a scene after making something like a murder mystery, making something quirky about not to slay the dragon, but to find a way to save the dragon. It was such a nice experience creating that one. I really want to make more of them. I actually am dreaming about making a series of not fairy tale based games, but something medieval-ish, something fairy tale-ish, folklore.
I think there's a lot of room with folklore, especially like Eastern European folklore is very, very
Yeah.
cool. Crazy folk tales.
That's something we are very intimately familiar with. I love them so much. I am like collecting books of Eastern European folklore on my shelf, just hoping that, one day I'm going to just read them all and get inspired and create something based on that.
I'd be very entertained by those games, so please do. What is your least favorite theme? This might be your least favorite theme to write for, or it could be the least favorite theme that you've played. It's entirely up to you.
I wonder if we're gonna say the same thing now as well.
Yeah, I also wonder.
Treasure
It's
hunt.
Mayan for me. Mayan, almost treasure hunt. Okay.
Okay, so both very like adventure-based, Lara Croft-esque kind of games.
Yeah, I just honestly feel like Mayan is a little overdone. It can be good. It definitely is fun. I just,
They all look the same.
Yeah.
I feel like we get a lot more Egyptian over here than we do Mayan. Lots of
Yeah.
like pyramids and tombs, less so than like Aztec temples.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Maybe I want to change my answer. Yeah, they're both at the same level for me. Yeah, a little overdone, a little 2015.
I wonder how many games on Morty are called like just the Pharaohs 2.
If I remember
Thousands, right?
correctly, I think the Cager Express podcast actually have like a mini game that they play where they say a word and you have to guess how many escape rooms have that word in their name. And somebody's gone through and like searched all of them and counted them up, and some of the answers are ridiculous. Yeah, it's super crazy to hear the amount of different names that have been used, and some of them are super niche.
I feel like every escape room has the word escape in their name.
Or lock, or key,
Yeah.
or enigma.
But that's what you gotta do.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you do. People want to know what they're buying, and when you search escape rooms, you kind of look for escape Newcastle.
Yeah,
Escape.
there's SEO to think about, right? There are many things little businesses like that have to compromise and
Like-
think about. Maybe they wanted to call themselves something cool, but then they're gonna lose traffic and yada yada yada. Capitalism.
Yeah, there's 2 escape rooms Durham. Apart from one is Australia, and then there's Durham. So there's escape rooms Durham, which is just that one, and then I think the other one is Durham escape rooms. Like they are so close to the point like they tag each other and stuff.
I once tagged them in a story when I played one of your games at Durham Escape Rooms, and tagged them, and they sent me a message like, "Hey, this is Durham in Australia. It's not Durham in the UK, so
Yeah.
you've mistakenly tagged us. But if at any point you want to come over and play our games, please do so." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks."
We have the same thing happening in our industry as well. It goes like escape envelope, escape mail, escape.
Oh, yeah.
I can't keep track anymore.
There's so many envelope-based puzzle games now, like postal-based puzzle games, so it
Right?
is difficult to keep track of everything.
We used to be original when we launched.
I don't want to pick favorites, but you guys are definitely the best postal games that I've played.
Thank you so much. You know, they're brilliant games by other creators in envelopes as well. We love them all. It's really a blessing that in our industry we don't really have to be competitors. We all share customers, really. If someone like us, they will probably also be interested in other companies that do this thing, and just they can compare and everything. I really enjoy that, because if we all had to fight for customers, oh god, no, we'd not survive.
Yeah, I think that's one of the really nice things about the escape industry that we found, especially speaking to owners, is a lot of people are so happy to share like their secrets behind their business, because at the end of the day, somebody plays an escape game, they can't then go play it again, so they're looking for more to do. Therefore, it makes sense to help other people get better.
Absolutely. More people getting into this, more people in the audience learning about our games. I always think, well, wow, if another company creates something similar, that's actually good, because they're doing the work for us in a way. They're teaching more people, they're getting more people into this. And when people actually get interested in tabletop escape rooms, believe me, they will be researching reviews, they will be trying out all kinds of things. They're gonna get obsessed for a while.
Tell me about it. I created a podcast because of it.
We are planning to get married, and we were meeting a priest. And we were like, oh, thank you. And we're like, oh, by the way, there's a great Escape Cathedral game 30 minutes away from here. We really recommend it.
Seriously, aren't we crazy? And he was like, so you escape a cathedral? I was like, oh yeah, they build a crazy set. It looks almost like a real cathedral. You should like
Oh.
go.
Wait, is this in Montreal?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, it is. They got a Tribeca award and all kinds of
Wow.
awards. They're already considered one of the best experiences with the like insane set and all that.
Do you remember what the company's called?
Forgotten Cathedral is the name of the room. And yeah, we played it and wow, we loved it. It was so good. Cannot
It's
recommend it
Escaparium.
enough.
Escaparium.
Escaparium, yeah.
Ah, okay, perfect. We shall bop it in the show notes for people to have a look
Oh,
at if you're in the
yeah.
Montreal area. Do get that.
You should. It's so good.
While you are playing your favorite themes, what is your favorite puzzle to do?
Or to write.
We enjoy making visual puzzles. Visual first and story first, always, which makes it hard to
Yeah.
make a puzzle, honestly.
Honestly, for me, if I can work with my favorite illustrator on a puzzle, that's my favorite puzzle, because I can just come up with anything, literally anything, and it's gonna come to life. It's incredible. And I enjoy specifically to see it come to life with like a hand-drawn illustration, like not AI or just design, even though we do a lot virtual puzzles or a shit ton of graphic design, which is all Lisa. But when we work with an illustrator, god, that's just so, I don't know, just makes me so happy. And That's why we're continuing working on our Christmas cards with puzzles, because they're really illustration heavy. It's all about illustrations there.
Is this the same illustrator that does the illustrations for the envelopes?
No, that's me.
You do the
Yeah,
illustrations for
no.
the envelopes?
Yes.
No way. They're
Not
sensational.
all of them, not all of them. Well, sometimes we have different contractors for sure, and the same illustrator who works with the cards. Her name is Tanya. Tanya is amazing. Tanya did some illustrations for Scarlet Envelopes as well.
They're stunning, man. Like the illustration both in the games and on the envelopes is always top notch. So fair play to everyone involved.
Thank you.
On the flip side of said favorite puzzle, what is your least favorite puzzle? Whether this is your least favorite to write or least favorite to play, what do you see and just think, ugh, don't want to do that?
Oh, can I go?
Pick me.
I know what
I'm
you're
not
gonna.
gonna name names or even locations, but the least favorite puzzle is the one that does not make sense. We were playing this escape room and it was very technological and nice, and it was very good production and amazing, and we were running out of time, so we were like almost at the end. We're on the rush. We're like, okay, we almost finished, and then there's a huge like touch screen at the end, and we have to like move the
And
box
it's just
to
a mini
free like a
game.
ball, like
It's just
yeah,
a
like
stupid ass mini
like
game.
a
I was.
phone game.
You should have seen my face.
We refused to do it. We failed the room because we refused to do it.
That's commitment.
Pride and Prejudice.
That's fair. That's commitment. But what was this mini game? Like, what did you have to do?
Like, you know, when you have to move blocks to like free
like a
like
sliding
a ball
puzzle.
or something. Yeah, like a sliding
like a
puzzle.
sliding puzzle.
Oh, I mean, I love a sliding puzzle. Like, I have a little travel game that has magnetic sliding tiles, and it's super fun. But I can't imagine getting to the end of a game and the penultimate thing being essentially an iPad with a game on it.
Exactly.
Yes, thank you for validating.
Yeah, we always try when we do our games, we always double check ourselves, going like, oh, does this puzzle make sense? It's here. Could it work here? Why is it here? You know, you just don't slap a puzzle in the middle of the game just for a game to continue.
Yeah, just to I don't know, make it make your gameplay longer. It should never be a goal when you add a puzzle just to make the chance of finishing the game like lower. If you setting your customers for fail, I don't know, I don't get it.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a few puzzles that take longer time so that you're not just rattling through things. But if it's just something in there for the sake of wasting time, I don't like that either. Especially if it's something that you know exactly what you have to do, but it just takes a long time to do it. That's infuriating.
I think that's been said a lot as well. I know that every now and again, a game writer has to write like a time-wasted game into your game. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that a puzzle that takes a long time is a bad thing at all. But when you know exactly what you need to do, you just need to do all the fiddly bits to get through it. It can ruin a whole room, like it did for you guys.
You can still write a good puzzle that takes a long time. It's just laziness where you write something that just takes for eternity but is not enjoyable at the same time.
Or you don't write at all. You just put something.
Yeah, you just throw in a game.
You know what's easy though? It's easy to create an escape room game that every single person is gonna hate.
True.
Yes.
Played a fair few of those.
You know what? I haven't. I've played 2 of those in I don't know how many, like 80 games I've done now, and only 2 of them have stuck out like a sore thumb because they were rubbish. Like the puzzles were.
Yeah, I can only think about one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the quality overall in the market is pretty good.
Yeah, I think especially over the last few years, when you
Yes.
go and play a rubbish game now, it's actually shocking. And I get budgets that's completely different in different places, and sometimes it's a lot easier to just put a game out than not have a game. You can still have a tiny escape room with not much budget, but still have good games behind it.
Yeah, it's so nice to see that the market's evolved so much. And I think we were one of the first ones. We were just really small to really be seen widely. But yeah, we started in 2020, so the pressure wasn't there yet, honestly. Our first game is, I don't consider it very good. It's okay, Lisa hates it. Imagine us promoting the monthly subscription, right? When we hate our first game, we're like convinced that people are just gonna bail on us after the first game. For some reason, it doesn't happen. yeah, you guys, if you're subscribing to Scarlet Envelope after the podcast, I promise it gets better after the first game.
And we promise we're gonna rework it as soon as we're free.
Yeah, we need time, and the time is not there until we finish everything. So, but it is gonna be improved and everything. Oh, I hate it. Like every time I'm like, the first game needs to be really good, and we need to invest time in making it way better.
But well done for like, even recognizing it though, because some game writers will just be like, "That's done now. I've moved on," and you're going, "Actually, I really want to go back and redo that."
Yeah, it shows how much pride you guys have it in your games.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to just go, bah, it's in the past.
Yeah, that is not my problem anymore.
But it is.
Yeah. So when you are playing games, what do you think that each other's strengths are?
Ooh, we are struggling for strength.
My God,
Be nice to each other. Come
I
on.
was under
Uh-oh.
impression Lisa's gonna answer that.
We done a lot of escape rooms and escape games together as a team. Anna's usually a powerhouse, and I'm like a
Am I?
burglar. Yes, you make us do things, but like I do things, you know.
That's just how we do business also. I make her do things and she is actually the one who doesn't.
Again, leader.
Yeah,
The clumsy one.
no, I said half clumsy.
Well, Lisa is really good with puzzles, right? And my task for her in every escape room is to actually include other people in her mind processes, because it's not fun for us to just watch her crack everything by herself. It's definitely
just that.
strength. What's
You
not the
also,
strength?
your other goal is to include me into this story, because half of the time I can't even tell you what I
Right.
was doing because I
Right.
don't look at
Yes.
the room.
Yes, I'm trying to read everything and get myself all immersed. I'm there for the vibes, you know. And yeah, if she solves everything too quickly, I can't enjoy the vibes. But yeah, I don't know what my strength is in the escape room.
I mean, taking on the role of reading everything is definitely a strength, because 9 times out of 10 people hate reading and analyzing stuff.
Anna's also a audacious one. You know, she's the one that would go go into
A
the
red
maze
button,
level.
let's push it. The
Exactly.
red button is here for a reason. We only live once. Let's go. And everybody's like, no.
Yeah, are you still pushing it if it says do not push?
I would.
No,
She
of course
wouldn't.
not.
Ah,
No,
okay.
no, I wouldn't. But it's just because when we started playing, like many years ago, right? When we had this one team that we were going to escape rooms with all the time, they were just like scaredy cats. They were so scared to do something wrong that would waste time. So I think after that, I decided, you know, fuck it, we're just gonna push the button.
Wasting time making decisions is definitely where people can shave time off. Now, this question I feel maybe easier, judging by what you guys have just said. What would you say are your weaknesses in an escape room?
I hate horror. If there is a person involved, I'm out of there. Like,
Yeah.
I
So
am
the weakness
scared.
is that she just won't let me do any because she doesn't want to go. I also don't want to go without her. So we don't really do horror games with actors. That's too bad. I would love that. I did one with two with my friends without Lisa, but I would love to see her do it. I think she'd actually love it so much, adrenaline and everything, but she would not.
Thanks.
Is that a weakness? It's
Never
like a
done one
choice,
with an
you know?
actor.
Yeah.
We did one where the actor was like behind the door or like shoving like a stick under the door, and I was like, "This is enough." Like,
Oh,
even
not
with a
one.
barrier in
No,
between
we did a bunch like that. Not just.
I remember
And
this one.
that was enough for you to go,
Oh yeah,
nope.
yeah, that's too close already.
Yeah, we go into escape rooms to get away from people, not to spend more time with
Exactly.
people.
And I think my weakness is just that sometimes it get like fixated on something I can't understand. Not even a puzzle. Like I'm looking for logic, and if something doesn't work, I don't know. Yeah, I just obsess. I'm trying to understand what they meant by this. Like, how does the plot go? What's happening? And I can completely lose time and lose track of what's happening. So please make stuff make sense. Thank you.
Okay, so if you guys could build your dream team, so it can be you two and 3 other players, they can be alive, dead, celebrities, etc. Who would be on your dream team?
Shit, we only prepared 2 because the other person is obviously Anna or me.
We're just gonna include someone hot.
All right, fair. for the brains, apart from us, Neil Patrick
Apart
Harris.
from us, look at her.
Apart from us, yes. Neil Patrick Harris, because we already played the room with him, and he's
Nice.
very great at escape rooms.
Yeah, we just wanted to brag about doing
We did it. Mic drop.
We have
You
so
said
many
again.
guests that have played with Neil, and it is
I'm also
starting to
upset.
get to me.
I know. I'm a bit upset we haven't been invited
I
by
know.
Okay,
Neil Patrick
cross
Harris.
him out.
One day.
It's not that exclusive anymore.
No,
One day,
he's on our
yeah, I
team
mean,
so badly.
everyone's bringing out the brags when they come on the show,
I
apparently.
know, right? Can you tell us how that happened?
Oh, it was an audio escape room actually. It was
Oh, nice.
during Recon, this amazing conference for escape room creators, and I was a speaker last year. So yeah, but I didn't know that I would be playing with Neil. Well, me and Lisa. I was just told that if I booked the audio escape room for a certain time slot, there would be a surprise, and I was like, okay, hell yes, surprise, love surprises, let's do it. And then so we tune in, and there's someone called NPH in there, and I'm like, okay, don't be weird, please don't be weird about it. But I was weird about it, of course, because I was not prepared. I was like, I'm so sorry, Neil, but like if they just gave me a heads up, I cannot. What's happening? But he was sweet about it. He's just way to understanding. He also got our games after that, which was like actual bragging right, because that made me so happy.
Oh, heck yeah, that's bragging rights. Well done.
Yay.
For number 4, for just vibe, we for some reason both decided to include the Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
That's a cool choice.
That's adorable.
Imagine him just like scattering about and like cheeseburger.
I feel like it would be chaos. It
Yeah.
would be absolute carnage. The room would be turned upside down.
He'd be a great searcher though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, scurrying up the walls. And who we have it as number 5 rounding
Yeah,
up the
it's number
team.
5.
This is quite the team thus far.
And Anna said someone hot, and this is terrible
hot.
because we never agree on.
Are we
who's
saying Neil
hot,
Patrick
both of
Harris
us.
doesn't fit that category?
Ooh,
Not for
well,
me.
what do you mean? Trick question. I mean, of course, but also,
Chill.
you know, it has to be a woman. So,
Yeah.
right. Well, Charlize Theron.
Okay, sold.
Yes, Charlize
Sold.
So fair play. Was it Atomic Blonde that she did?
Oh yes.
Oh my
Recently.
God, the
Such a-
scene where she plunges into the tub
Cold bath.
full of ice.
Yes,
Oh
with
my
vodka in her
God.
hand.
God.
All right, we might need to calm down. It's such a phenomenal film. As a guy who's big into like stunt work and stuff like that, the work and effort that she put into the fight sequences and all the choreography
Right?
and
It's
stuff
one
like that.
shot.
It's
Did
absurd.
you know it's one shot? It's oh wow.
So good.
It's like the way women would fight, not men, which is so refreshing to see on the screen. Back then, nobody did it.
Right? She used like cutlery around
Hands
the house.
and stuff.
Hands,
Yeah,
whatever
there's
she
a lot
could
of
grab.
creative stuff like belts and just anything, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
I have a question. What do you
Mm.
mean there's like a difference between male and female fighting? Because I didn't realize there was a difference.
Yeah, because
Oh,
when
yeah,
you're
there's
female
definitely
fighting against a male, you're not gonna go punch him in the face because he's gonna punch you hard. So you have to like be creative, like punch him with a door, like with a pen, or throw something at him. You don't want to be close to him, right? He's gonna
Yeah,
win.
you have to find ways to use the person's weight and strength against them, I feel.
I would not even.
Yeah, it's
think to
definitely
look
not
at that.
just gender. It's just like in general, a female would probably be smaller than like a general male, right? So just an assumption, but let's keep in mind males and females. So
Yeah, it's why I find Jackie Chan's style of fighting very cool, because Jackie's a very short guy
True.
in comparison to quite a lot of people. So his creative use of things like ladders and jumping through stuff and jumping on stuff to fight people is very cool.
Yeah, he also doesn't like to be in close contact. It's not like a boxing match. He doesn't throw people around.
Yeah, he's very much just get in, do damage, get out. It's
Yep.
the best way to do it. I feel like Charlize Theron is very much like the female version of John Wick.
Oh, there is gonna be female version of John Wick. I just
There
saw a
is
trailer for
Ballerina. Looks
Oh, what?
sensational.
I love her.
seriously?
It's the same actress who played in Knives Out, which is amazing escape room-ish movie.
Yeah, Knives Out
Exactly.
sensational.
What's her name?
Wow, I've never
something.
heard of
Anna
this.
de Armas,
That's so
I
exciting.
believe she's
Right.
called.
It
Yeah.
looks so good. I really loved it.
I will stick the trailer in the show notes for those listening who haven't seen it, because I love anything John Wick and it looks sensational.
Even though I'm
Yeah.
probably the biggest fan of Keanu Reeves in the universe, a female John Wick. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, very, very cool.
And it was sold.
This is a queer-owned company, guys. Give us the female John Wick. Yeah.
We are all here for it.
We are, absolutely.
So, get us back on track and not get all hot under the collar. What is your escape room origin story? Why Postal Games, and how did you guys stumble into this? Or was it like a planned thing? How did it come about?
We're still shocked it happened. Honestly, we get this question like all the time, right? Of course, this question makes sense, but we don't even have a good answer to that. It just chaotically happened. You know, the pandemic was wild. We were doing things that we didn't think we'd be doing with our lives, right? And so we also found ourselves doing a crazy thing. We had this idea that it would be cool to make games that are mailed in envelopes because it would save money on shipping. And I personally thought that it's like a brilliant idea that's gonna make this such a unique selling point of the game, which in reality actually turned out that people are still people. You know, there's all this marketing / capitalism rules that apply. So games in envelopes seem like a cheaper option to people than games in a box, even though if we just put our game in a box, you know, nothing would change. Our game can absolutely be in a box. Wouldn't be a problem at all. A lot of games in boxes are just paper based, like our games. But yeah, we wanted them to be in envelope, so we did that.
I am grateful for that, though. It is way easier to store your games than it is to store any of the other box games that I have that take up so much space.
Yeah,
It's not just about the storage. It's when was the last time you got the mail that is not like a bill or anything? It's
Yeah, exactly.
red,
It's a nice envelope to
make
receive.
letters great again. Sorry for that. Sincerely. Yeah, exciting mail, mysterious something that comes to your envelope. Plus, if you subscribe monthly, we ship them as letter mail, which means you don't get a tracking number for a package. You don't know when exactly it's gonna come. Like, we know that it takes about a week in Canada, 2 weeks in US, you know, things like that, but you don't really know when, which makes it seem even more mysterious, even more fun. We loved this idea, and we tried to create a game, and it came so easily almost to us, which was so misleading. Oh my god, we thought we'd be able to create a game like every month. This was wild. We were so dumb. So many mistakes on the way. But we had a friend who just mentioned Kickstarter to us. We didn't really know how Kickstarter worked. We were like, wow, this seems perfect because we don't have the funding to start something like this. So we tried the Kickstarter, and it kind of blew up. We were lucky enough to find some communities of enthusiasts. Shout out to Puzzle People on Facebook. I love you guys. You are the best. So we had so much support from the community. We just had this incredible feedback and so many people who wanted to start doing reviews because the industry was just establishing itself. And the people were so excited to try things out, to help new creators. We had so much help from enthusiasts. We are basically what we are right now because so many enthusiasts wanted to have games that catered to them. So we had all this feedback from strong players. We had all this feedback from people who played hundreds of escape rooms, telling us, okay, this is too easy, telling us, all right, this is cool, and being so patient with us. We literally, like, so many things in our games are redone because we had feedback from people telling us, hey, so I had this idea, and then, you know, it's like a 20 minutes long email, and we've read them all, and we went, wow, this is cool. We did not come up with this ourselves. This is so cool. So the first couple of games, I feel like a lot of collaboration with enthusiasts was helpful for us. And so, yeah, Kickstarter worked for us. We got the initial funding to do this thing, and we did this thing. And it's wild that that's now the thing that we are doing on daily basis. And also this thing is now a thing like tabletop escape rooms is not just something weird that was a thing during the pandemic when people were going crazy in their houses, right? No, we actually play tabletop escape rooms now for real. And we have luxury experiences that are like so premium and quality like, and we have this more casual ones, and we have this coffee break puzzle bites, like the Christmas cards with puzzles that we are producing right now to make the typical Christmas card more fun. I feel like there's so much potential for this industry still, and I am so happy that it didn't just die out throughout the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the future of tabletop games because I feel like we're still very much at the forefront of what is to come. Even with escape rooms in general, I think escape rooms have developed so much over the past sort of 5 or 6 years, but even then, I think the room for more crazy stuff, especially as the likes of technology advances and the use of artificial intelligence and all of that stuff, I think it'll very quickly add up to a very cool experience.
It's going to be really interesting to see what tabletop can turn into. I feel like we needed it so badly during the pandemic just to get your little escape room beans ready and working. And the fact it survived past COVID, I think it's the only thing in my house that survived past COVID. And games wise, like I would not look at probably my Switch again because I'm not fussed by it. It's got every game I could possibly ever want. I only look at it when I've got like house parties and need to do Jackbox games sort of thing. But I smashed that Animal Crossing, man. Well, that was my lockdown. But I'm so glad that tabletop, like you know what I mean. You probably smashed loads of games during lockdown, and I can still look at games now that I've played during lockdown that are all tabletop, and I'd happily play them again. It's not something that I've gone off because I was like locked in and forced to do it. I really enjoyed them. I think by the end of it, we'd done so many that we were making our own up around the house and doing like little treasure hunts and stuff. We were losing our minds.
We were, weren't we?
And you guys started a whole ass company, so well done.
Yeah, it's crazy.
For us. I'm so glad that it's worked so well. And even like you can just see from your GoFundMe how much people want this and how much interest it has. And there'll always be interest for it, which is even better. And hopefully even more now. So while you are working and making new puzzles for us all, how does the roles shape up between you within the company?
Well, we've already established that I'm a clumsy leader.
She's gonna talk about it for the next 2 months, I swear.
I love it. No, I'm not offended or anything. I like it. It describes it so well.
But you're also a storyteller. She's the one that comes up with the whole concepts and the stories and dialogues and monologues and emails and everything.
Yeah, I'm also a writer, which is so fulfilling for me.
Yeah, she gives me like 40-page Google Doc and goes, put puzzles in there. And I go, and then I don't read it for like 2 months. And she's like, please start working. And that's when I come in.
But, well, I'm also learning from Lisa so much. It used to just be that all the puzzles were on her, but it's been for years now. Like, I can create puzzles now as well. And that's so fun. I'm creating a lot of puzzles for the Christmas cards we're working on right now. I'm better with easier puzzles. So when something needs to be a quick solve, I can do that. And when we need something that is very intricate and very meta, it's always Lisa. And Lisa is incredible at it. I don't know how her brain works, but I've always thought of her as of someone who can just achieve anything she wants to achieve, and that's super inspiring to me. I love you, Lisa. You're so good. Our company would absolutely die without you. Please don't leave us. Yeah,
I tried to quit so many times.
No, she literally
tried to
one day
escape.
she literally sat me down and was like, I am quitting. I do not like this no more. Yeah, it was intense.
She bumped up my salary.
Pay as well.
I didn't.
She didn't. No,
I didn't. She is also a professional graphic designer, so that was something that she was doing full time before Scarlet Envelope. So we are blessed with her skills. She can also do illustrations, even though we don't have like a full. Well, in some games we do actually, but not in every game we have like full pages of hand-drawn illustrations. But when we need it, if she can make the time, she can do it, which is also amazing. Well, we have a lot of production to think about as well, right? Not just the creation. Like we love talking about creation on podcasts because creation is what inspires everybody. It's interesting to know how things are created, but
The
and all
longest
that.
part is actually production, yes.
Yeah, it's like videos and web and the graphic design of items and storytelling and all that is just a part of the job. In reality of things is that we also need to work with manufacturers. We need to do sampling. We need to print. We need to read paper, do a lot of special effects on paper because we are an indie company. It's literally mostly it's just the two of us doing everything that we're doing. There is also assembly, there is shipping, there is thinking about the rates going up, there is driving the car when you ship the boxes of stuff, there is working with retailers. It would be a really long conversation if I listed everything and which one of us does each thing. We try to do well, whoever does something better is the one who does it. Okay. So, like, I don't drive, so I don't drive. Or I do assembly and Lisa prints a lot of things. Like, we have an actual printing machine. That was something that we bought with the money from Kickstarter. So, to give us more freedom, even though that actually made us work like full time, folding papers for hours and looking for printing issues on papers and stuff. But it gave us so much flexibility. Now we can make special effects. Like in one game, we have something appearing underwater, like you need to put a paper underwater to see something. You won't find a manufacturer in China who can mass produce it for you. You just won't. It's impossible.
It sounds tedious.
I mean, yeah, but also I don't mind it. Interestingly, after the creation stage is over and I am stuck with, handling the orders and shipping and things like that, and some strategies and some email planning and yada yada. Sometimes it feels really nice to just spend the whole day folding paper and applying this like things to paper that makes stuff appearing underwater, or just mindlessly do something with your hands. It actually feels good. We can handle it right now because we're not selling in thousands of copies. Of course, if we scale to the point when we work with like tens of thousands of copies, we won't be able to do that. We would have to find other solutions. But we're gonna burn those bridges when we cross them.
Obviously, when we bring guests onto the podcast, I like to do as much research as possible, and that normally includes listening to every single other podcast that guests have been on. And it was very interesting listening to, I believe you were talking to, I think it was Escape the Rumors, when I heard that interview, talking about how you guys hand make like almost everything that you guys produce, which is absurd. The amount of time and effort.
Absurd is such a good word for that. Yes, it's absurd, isn't it?
It's ridiculous.
When we do it.
But you can tell by the incredibly high quality of the production value that the passion and effort goes into it. And I think often with mass-produced games, that can sort of be lost in translation. You can tell the passion coming through when somebody's put the time and effort to create even the smallest of details in things.
Thank you for your kind words. We really appreciate it. If you listen to us, if that was something that we said to Escape the Rumors, that must have been when we just launched, so like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
And we must have sound so excited and everything. Like, we're still very excited about what we're doing, but I just feel like
more realistic.
Yeah, like we actually, we had no idea what we were doing when we were starting out. And honestly, thank God, I guess, because if we knew, we'd never do this. Yes.
And there was another one I'd listened to as well, and I can't remember who the other one was with, but both super interesting to both hear and see the differences in the business from then, when you guys were starting, and now. Obviously you can tell massively that a lot has changed and a lot has developed for the better as well, which is very, very cool to see.
Well, you played game 3 and game 10, which is like the production of those are probably like 3 years apart, maybe 2. Hard to tell from here right now, but maybe even 3. Yeah, because game 3 was literally like ready during the first Kickstarter. And game 10 was one of the ones that took us an absurd amount of time. It took an incredibly long time to create because, well, a murder mystery I find is really hard to write in general, but it's also sort of a audio play, right? Where we have to cast voice actors. And I don't know, I got so obsessive with that one. I really wanted it to sound like it sounded in my head. So it took a long time to cast everyone and to make sure that they all sounded like I wanted them to sound. And then the production, we had all kinds of issues during the production. Remember, there's a ribbon that goes over the
game spoiler
to create that puzzle that requires cutting. So we actually produced actual silk ribbons. They were beautiful. We really wanted to use them, but obviously we can't make silk ribbons ourselves. Okay, that's insane. It wasn't just silk ribbons. They had to be printed on both sides of them. So of course we had to order them, mass manufacture them and stuff. And we did, and it cost a lot of money, and it completely didn't work because they couldn't make sure that the printing on the ribbons would be in the same exact spot on each ribbon. They were like a millimeter off to the left, to the right, and it ruined the whole puzzle. We were so
millimeter
upset.
difference can be a big difference with puzzles.
Yeah, so we had to scrap them, and we still have a shit ton of the silk ribbons in our office, and we look at them and die inside because like we can't make ourselves throw them away because they're so pretty, so nice, but it is what it is. Sorry, you know what? The biggest difference between us sounding excited like 4 years ago and us sounding the way we sound right now, I'm sure, is that we complain a lot. We complain a lot, right? We just complain and
it's
complain.
A process.
Actually,
when we work on the game, there's so many arguments and struggles to go through, but that's what makes the game.
Yeah. So if you're one of those Kickstarter subscribers who went with, I want to get all the games together when you produce all of them, and you're one of those waiting for years for us to finish patiently, wow, first of all, you guys are heroes. And it's insane how much we love you and thank you for your support. And also, this is why you're waiting for such a long time. We're really trying to make these games good. We're really trying to, and we're also learning as we go. It's been 4 years and we're still learning and learning. I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing, but it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, but we are planning to ship soon already.
If everything goes well, when this episode goes live, we're going to be like really deep into figuring out all the shipping already for all of you guys. So yeah, that's good news.
I'm going to jumble the questions around slightly because it follows perfectly on from what we were just saying. Obviously, a lot of the elements that you guys have in your game that makes it so unique are the tactile elements, but as you mentioned before, especially with like the space episode and the murder mystery, you guys have a lot of virtual aspects to the game as well, which really adds to the immersion, especially like the murder mystery logs for their motives. Like you feel like you're actually investigating a crime. Why did you choose to add the virtual element?
Because
it's cool.
No, not because of that. The envelope is just this big, and it really puts you in a box. The only way you can escape is through virtual elements. That not only gives you like a way to put more puzzles or more content or videos, audios, but also it gives you more immersion. Because if you get the space game that is only an envelope, is it really sci-fi? The sci-fi is always, technology, websites and stuff.
That's why there's a coded terminal that you can interact with in that game with commands. So you're on a spaceship in that game, right? And you're a worker of a spaceship repair shop. So that terminal is something that you can interact with to like see the logs of your work, see the spaceships you're working on, but also ask the terminal's AI for some documents for the information about the space crash that happened in front of you. And eventually you go into this full-on detective story about stopping the Third World War in space. How would we achieve that with just paper? That's just not realistic, right? Okay, we do have a map in that game, which is honestly already like, why would you have a map in the 23rd century that is printed on paper? But all right, let's have that, a compromise. Then there is something printed on a transparent paper, to like a plastic transparent thing, because when we think 23rd century. We think transparent, cool shit. Yeah, and then there's this, not a business card. What is that, Lisa? What do I call that?
Access
thing?
card.
Right, thank you. Like an access card with a chip that is like your access card with your information, your mechanic, and everything. So just something that makes sense is what we tried. That game
You
has
could
the
also-
most virtual component from all of them, just because it makes sense. But some games, like the medieval treasure hunt about the dragon, you don't really think virtual when you think about medieval times. You think maps, you think postings, like in Witcher about monsters, things like that. But we made it virtual heavy, just in terms of we want you to travel the kingdom in medieval times. How would we achieve that in the envelope? So we thought, okay, we're going to have a map with locations, and you're going to have a dragon pilot who's like a taxi driver who's taking you places. And so there's a website for that, and you type the location like
Choose your own
C3,
adventure style,
D4, yeah. And you go to those places, and there's quite a bit of reading in that game, and it makes it kind of D&D feeling, and it wouldn't be possible without the virtual component.
Yeah, it certainly adds to the games. I think one of the biggest fears with adding virtual to anything tactile is taking away. But I think you guys have absolutely smashed it with how much it adds to the game and how much immersion it adds. Because as I mentioned, especially with like the murder mystery one with the voice notes, the voice memos from the police, you feel like you're actually listening to a real police report. Like it's so strange. I remember I was sat with my housemates playing it, and we're sat there like, oh, this is so cool. I feel like an actual detective solving a crime.
You could see by the game progression from 3 to 10 and 11, which is our most virtual heavy. You could see the quality improved in that sense as well, because there's a terminal in game 3, but there's also terminal in game 11.
Yeah, they're like super different, absolutely. And yeah, the last one is so Lisa coded them, which is insane to me. She's not even a web developer, but she can be as well. That's insane. Like we used to just hire a contractor for that, but then she was like, oh no, fuck it, I'm gonna figure it out. And then there's ChatGPT as well now to help you with those things. Our part-time worker, the unpaid intern, ChatGPT, working full-time, actually, not even part-time at this point. I love it.
He works in everybody's office, so don't worry.
Right?
Yeah, AI is
Oh my
so
God.
helpful nowadays.
Such a helpful little lad, never complains.
I think it's like super helpful when you're just trying to find the correct formulas to put into website. And the amount of times I've like missed a colon. And so everything's decided to move like 30 centimeters the wrong way. And I'm like, why have you done that? You make no sense. But if I just like stick it into ChatGPT, I'll be like, don't worry, babe. I got you.
Yeah, for coding, it's so helpful. But yeah, for sure. So the virtual evolved, that's for sure. But it is also taking us way longer than it used to, you know? Another reason why the games, when we just started, were literally taking us like 2-3 months to produce, and now one game can be, oh, I'm not gonna even say, because like a real long time. First of all, we're trying to do things different every time. We don't want you to see the same terminal. We don't want you to see the same special effect on paper. We even try to make sure that you don't even see like the exact same papers, even though like sometimes you still do, but you know, we do our best. So yeah, it's like inventing a bicycle all over every time, but it is also fun for us. Yeah, and we also do videos, and you know,
it's also fun. And then there is a long sign.
Fun comes with consequences sometimes. It's fun.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
That's what happens when we're in the middle of the game. When we just finish it, it starts to be fun again. But when we're in the middle of doing it, we're like, oh God, when is it gonna end?
It's only because we're anxious that we're taking so long, because there is always people who, you know, who want things to happen faster, and I understand them. I really do. And I'm always like, God, we're trying our best to make it happen faster. I promise it's worth it. When we take a long time, it's because we're trying to make something new happen. That's what's happening.
So what do you think are the benefits and the negatives of postal escape in comparison to like an in-person escape room?
Wow. Well, the negative is that it's at home, not in an actual escape room. And the benefit is that it's at home.
You don't have to
No,
run it anymore.
the negative is that the media of envelope escape room is pretty constricted. There is so many ways you can assemble a bicycle. With a personal escape room, there is honestly unlimited possibilities.
That might be my
But
favorite quote ever. There's only so many ways you can put together a bicycle.
Yeah, well, they're just so different. I wouldn't even compare. It's like, both are great and you should do both. You should play tabletops. You should go to actual escape rooms. The envelope is something you can take with you when you go on a trip, or you're just at home, you do a date night, or it's a themed party, or you're alone and you want to play something cool, totally playable by yourself, or you're in a team of 6. Or maybe you want to save money because escape rooms can be really expensive these days. And our game costs maybe an access to an escape room for one person, but you can play in a team of like 6. Yeah, I think you guys should try all of it. Nobody should choose between escape rooms and tabletop escape rooms. We should all do.
But if we were to force you to pick, outside of obviously creating postal escapes, do you prefer playing tabletops or do you prefer playing in-person escapes?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
both.
Don't answer anything else.
Good answer. Avoid the question altogether. We love that. Obviously, as we mentioned in the introduction, you guys had an incredibly successful Kickstarter campaign. Why did you choose specifically Kickstarter to release the project?
Because we did
So
not
that
have
we-
the money.
No, Kickstarter is a good platform for games that are not sold to publisher and that will be released in small quantities.
It was a great platform for us. It gave us some organic traffic. We didn't have the budget for advertising almost. And I mean, I think eventually we did a little bit, but like maybe $100, something like that. So, it was chaotic. The whole Kickstarter experience was really chaotic. But we did have experience in marketing, though, and in graphic design and in branding, just as, so that really helped.
For anyone out there that's looking to potentially start a Kickstarter campaign to sort of fund a project that they're writing, do you have any advice or any sort of pros and cons to using the platform?
Well, things are a little different now with what they used to be 4 years ago, but we also kickstarted Christmas cards with puzzles last year, so we do have experience that is more fresh with Kickstarter. There's definitely less organic traffic coming from it these days, unfortunately. Well, the best advice is to have your game almost ready or even ready before launching. Don't do what we did. Don't kamikaze your whole series in one Kickstarter. Yeah, you're not gonna meet the deadline that you think initially it's gonna be a deadline, though. Because things are gonna keep happening, especially if you're building something that is complex. And we hope you're building something that is complex, right? So yeah, have your game ready, or at least have a playable sample ready. Have your reviews done, because it's really important, and it's gonna give you the feedback that you need. It's gonna give you the social proof that you need to promote your campaign. Reach out to communities of enthusiasts. I don't think Kickstarter is a place for games that are gonna go to very general, like super general audience.
Unless it's a tabletop game.
Like board game. Yeah, if we're talking board game, sure. If we're talking a puzzle game, well, no. If it's something that can be sold in like home sense, Kickstarter is not a place for that.
Also, regarding the platform itself, for the creators, there's not many cons, honestly. The fees are not that high.
Pretty high, but it makes sense, like they still give you the opportunity.
The tools for design and campaign building improved a lot in the last few years. Yeah,
There are late
still
pledges
pretty-
now that we're gonna test out when we launch with the new campaign that we're gonna tell everyone about in a bit. Gonna try out the late pledges. That's interesting.
So does that allow people to pledge after the campaign's successful?
Correct.
Yes,
After
That's
which
really
is
cool.
questionable but cool. Like the whole point of the campaign on Kickstarter is usually to meet the goal
FOMO,
in
yeah.
a certain time. FOMO, right? With this late pledges, are we gonna reduce the excitement level? Again, another thing to test out, another thing to learn from. We're gonna see how it goes. But it's just because our project is going to be the Christmas cards again. So we can't launch a project like that in like November, right? Because in November, we would have to already be wrapping it up to send it out the end of November. So everybody receives them early in December, getting the product in time for Christmas. So that makes us launch in October, the latest. But the sales for Christmas products actually always go up in November, right? Around the Black Friday and everything. So it's interesting for us that we're going to have this option to also accept pledges in November. Sounds cool. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I definitely think it works out well for people making the Kickstarter campaigns. Obviously, there's been a few times where, for example, maybe I don't have the money when a Kickstarter campaign goes live, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to grab that, but I don't have the chance. And then it finishes, and then I get the money, and I'm like, oh, it's a bit late now. So it's cool that it gives you that, but I do agree that it somewhat takes away from that exclusivity that you get from, having this certain time frame to get the product, or you'll never see it again.
Yeah, I actually don't know the details right now. We're going to look into it like literally this week. But I think what's going to happen is you're not going to get the same discount in the late pledge. You're still going to get a discount from the MSRP, but it's not going to be like as good. So there is still going to be some component of like the Kickstarter itself is better.
And it won't be indefinite. So the late pledge will end at some point.
I know there are a lot of opinions that it's just turning Kickstarter into like a forefront, and that's what Kickstarter was turning into, because everybody realized that it's better to create a game before actually launching, which yes, is not what Kickstarter was initially created for, but just the reality of designing games is that this works better because you can offer a better service to your clients on Kickstarter, and your reputation doesn't struggle from you not reaching a deadline that you promised and all that. So it's there are no right and wrong answers.
I think it's great that Kickstarter gives the opportunity for those who might not necessarily have the funding to produce a game to get the funding before producing it. Obviously, that's also potentially incredibly daunting, but it does certainly help for those, especially smaller sort of individual, like indie creators that might not necessarily have the budget for funding a game up front.
Or reputation.
Just not established yet, right? But have big dreams, just like we were 4 years ago.
I know, and then 3,000% later, it's crazy.
Yeah, but to be fair, our goal wasn't that big.
Yeah, okay. So the percentage makes it sound like we made
you made bank.
Yeah, no, we did not, but we made enough to establish a company. And, then we invested a lot of our own funds into that as well. And we also started selling the games on the website. So Kickstarter really helped us promote the business and start making money on the monthly subscription, on selling the series. And that all those also went into creating more and more games. So it kind of became the cycle that all the steps in that cycle needed each other to make this whole thing happen.
And it happened perfectly by the sounds of it. So we found with other games, the creators hide like little Easter eggs in them for you to find along the way. Do you guys have any secrets built into your games?
Absolutely. We have two types of secrets. The first one is obviously part of our Kickstarter promise to the backers who pledged certain amounts. So almost all the characters in our games are actually our Kickstarter backers. It's their names, it's their characters, their photos.
That's really
so cool.
I'm going to have to get in early on the next one.
And the other type is more fun. It's what I put into the games. Most of it is in virtual. So, for example...
Those are crazy. Like, I just let her do whatever shit she wants. It's when she's like super bored with doing something tedious, like coding something that doesn't want to be coded, She just goes, okay, I need some kind of pick me up. And I go, okay, like smash some kind of a stupid GIF somewhere, like hide it somewhere, please.
So for
the cat meme in the space one really caught me off guard.
Yeah. Did you find the one in game 10?
I don't believe so.
There is an audio meme. Not a meme, but there's like a joke. If you call a certain number,
With
There's
the
a bank.
phone in
Oh,
the
it's the
car.
bank. Yeah, there, you call a bank and you have to be on hold for like 5 minutes and nothing happens.
No, it's not 5 minutes. It's hours. If you
Hours.
do like, okay,
What?
yes, wait, and it goes for hours, like 4 hours or something. The hold is like, and they go like the wait time is da 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 da, and it's like insane, and it just the elevator music just never stops.
That's absurd. That's ridiculous. Are there any Easter eggs, Lisa, that you've put in the game that Anna doesn't know about?
Ooh,
No, I usually brag about them. We giggle together.
like a Nicolas Cage gift somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
that Corey referred to.
it's
That's the
so
Ah,
good.
that's the one. That's
Yeah,
the
it's
one. Yeah.
Nicolas Cage as a cat. Oh,
yeah,
it
but
really
there's-
caught it. It had me chuckling for like 10 minutes, which didn't help my escape time.
There is actually another cool Easter egg in Game 7, which you will play soon.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the Game 8, we collaborated with another creator.
Kids, shout out to Kiss from USB Escape, the horror master of the universe. We love him.
Keith is fantastic. Such a nice guy, and I have one of the USBs behind me, and I'm still terrified to plug it in my PC.
You should do it. It's really cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to
So-
play it. I'm just finding the time to dedicate the few hours that I need to get it all played through.
Yeah, so our game 8 is actually created in collaboration with Keith. We really wanted to create a horror game, and we're not built for that. And like we still diluted Keith, so it didn't turn out really horror-ish. It's more like a creepy game than what we have. But yeah, I don't remember what kind of Easter egg we have in that game. What is it?
In Game 7, we needed a voice for a drunk wizard, and Keith was
Oh.
generous enough to.
Right. Right.
right,
He was
to-
brilliant. The guy
And
is
there's two ways to solve a puzzle. You can like come to the wizard and like successfully talk to him, and you can come to the
Because
wizard
you-
and
you
fail.
need to solve the puzzle to identify which of the crystals in the wizard's tower is a sobriety crystal, because the wizard is a drunk. So if you give him the right crystal, he talks to you normally. And I imagine probably, our brilliant players usually solve it right. But if you actually solve it wrong, that's where the gold is. His impression of a drunk wizard, he is singing there, like he came up with some kind of a song. If he starts being like, everybody asks where the wizard is at, but nobody asks how the wizard is doing, and he's like crying and he's banging like his fists on the table. It's amazing.
I'm gonna do that wrong on purpose.
Please, yes.
That's incredible. Just for future reference, if you ever need any voice actors, it's something I'd love to break into. So
Really?
yeah,
We
it's
do we always do.
absolutely love vocal impressions and just like voiceover work in general. So anything like that, any
Oh my God.
opportunities, hit me up.
He's like annoyingly good at just getting into
Oh my
a
God,
character.
I'm gonna reach out to you, because you know what? We had a lot of feedback about Game 7 that there's a lot of reading. And even though it's fun, it would be fun to also have an option to have the voiceovers for all this reading. Because we do have voiceovers in the game for sure, and there's plenty, but there's so much reading that, we don't have the audios for everything. We still imagine players reading to make it more D&D slash adventure book.
Well, a wizard's voice is certainly something I can do.
Oh wow!
How
That
cute
was
is he, man?
insane! Wow!
Yeah, I used to stream video games, and one of the fun things I used to do is playing virtual reality games and just doing impressions whilst playing those games with random people, just to really confuse, but entertain people. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
If you could go back to when you first started the business and give yourself some advice or change how you did something, what would that advice be? Sorry, just got real philosophical.
I want to say that there are a lot of things that we could say here, and I know what you're gonna say, but let's just say that we wouldn't change a thing, because if we did, we wouldn't be here right now, and we wouldn't have learned so much.
But that's not the juicy gossip that we want to hear.
No, fuck that. This is not
Yeah,
correct.
Okay, I have tried. If she says something that is completely inappropriate or makes someone upset, The responsibility is not on me. I do.
Uh-oh.
Damn you.
Uh-oh.
Snip, snip,
All I
snip. Don't
wanna
you worry.
All I
I
want
tried
to
to-
say
I-
is
Okay.
I would have been more generous to myself in regards to timelines.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
the way you made it sound. Yeah. Mhm.
You managed to pull it back, Lisa. Well done.
Oh,
We blew
so
all the deadlines
sometimes
already. It's so hard.
yeah, exactly. So it's not that we smash tasks together and still produce something, without sleeping. The things that we want sometimes are just, they make it impossible for us to do that even without, because we have really complex designs of items that need to be physically produced. And sometimes it's manufactured somewhere, and sometimes it comes from that place and it's wrong and needs to be redone. And sometimes it's something that we create that is not working out or taking us days to assemble, weeks to assemble. So we just don't meet those deadlines sometimes. The thing is, with the Kickstarter, we said, okay, that's what we're hoping for, right? This is how Kickstarter works. That's how we're hoping for, back us, and we're going to do our best. Unfortunately, sometimes our best is like months and years later than what we hoped for. And people are not always forgiven, and that gives us anxiety and all kinds of, stress. But we still persist. We still say, no, it's going to be worth it. We cannot allow ourselves to produce something shitty, because you're never going to buy from us again, and we going to hate ourselves. So you're going to have to wait.
It's always worth the wait. Always.
If we gone back in time, we probably would separated our whole series in
Yeah.
3-4 games each and back
Yeah.
each part with a
Yeah,
reasonable
so it
deadline of
wouldn't
like
be
a
a
year.
series of 13 games
No.
in one Kickstarter, definitely.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, it snuffs them
financially, it
out.
was a really bad idea, because we'd reach way more people launching like every year, with another like chapter 1 of series 1 or like chapter 2 of series 1, whatever. And just it would have made it easier on us, and it would have made it look better in terms of like, sometimes people don't even realize that we already produced like 11 games out of 12, because they don't see our project as like fully fulfilled. So they go, wow, it took you like 4 years, and what do you have to show for it? And we're like, we have plenty to show for it. We have awards for our games. We have a shit ton of games, honestly speaking. But it's still, there is always this element of, but we're not fully done, but it is not enough. And we cannot wait to finally ship the last game. And we are really deep in preparing to make that happen. It is happening so soon. It's insane. And it's like almost surreal for us, because it's been, 4 years of being under this pressure of making it happen faster, but still not compromise the quality.
We honestly haven't worked yet fully free, and I'm excited to see what we're gonna do because we have so many ideas for projects, but we never launch them.
Because we always need to prioritize the Scarlet Envelope series and envelopes, right? Because we just don't feel good about starting something on the background, even though we could have. Because like with the Christmas cards, it's actually working out really well in terms of, sometimes we just like in this weird limbo with Scarlet Envelope where there is nothing that we can do and we have to wait. And this is the time that we can dedicate to creating something new, right? And the Christmas cards are small enough for us to focus on and still have the results like right away. Like it's not as complex, it's smaller, it's easier to produce also in terms of just printing. It's not, 10 components in each envelope, right? Because we have like hundreds of components. Whole Kickstarter that we're assembling is like thousands of little pieces of different things. Every single little piece of paper there needs to go to the specific place, right? And needs to, something was done to that little piece of paper. It didn't just come like that from China or something. No, we printed it, we cut it, we, ripped paper apart to make it more immersive. We applied some kind of stuff to it to make it magically like doing something. Oh, the tarot cards from game 2 are so cool. And I can never talk about them because the whole cool component is that you need to figure it out yourself. They have this huge secret in them. Many things in our games are like that. Anyway, I didn't want to sound like I'm upset about all this. I love this job. And I understand how for some people it's just not clear why things are not happening faster. And we want them to be happening faster. And hopefully in the future, definitely in the future, we're gonna have a better understanding of how much time things take, and we're gonna be better with expectations.
Are you guys running this entirely from like your apartment? Do you guys have storage somewhere for all of these crazy components?
One of our
office in our
bedrooms
apartment.
is an office, yes.
No
So
way.
yeah, storage and everything. It's a pretty big room, so yeah, the whole thing is an office. It's that makes sense financially compared to having a warehouse. And if you look at some other puzzle companies that used to have a warehouse, they're actually switching to other options right now as well, because warehouses are just like super expensive.
Yeah, I know a lot of like mail companies that have like gone, oh, stuff that, and now put together all of their stuff inside their conservatories, which is quite sweet.
I don't think we would have changed anything regarding like how we run the business, but we would have changed our first Kickstarter, yes, a lot. Future Kickstarters and the Kickstarters that we ran last year, it was a way different experience and
Wow, the
much more
last
successful.
year,
Yes.
the Christmas cards Kickstarter, that was also pretty successful. So we launched 3 folded greeting cards, that the Christmas cards with like a mini game inside.
That Kickstarter, it
Smooth
ran
as
as smooth as
hell.
butter. Yes, it was so good.
It was like we were just on time with everything. Every update was where it was supposed to be. Everyone was engaged. We had weekly puzzles coming out. The deadline was met like just beautifully. Chef's kiss. We shipped on 25th of November. Everybody got their shit early in December. Was plenty of time to send exchanges if anybody had something like into the package or there was something faulty with the card, which only happened once, but still. It was so good, so fulfilling. I was like, hell yes, we can do this. With the first Kickstarter, we just, well,
we
we overdid it a little
overpromised.
bit.
We overpromised.
Overpromised just in terms of the time. The games, though, you know what is good though? We also overpromised in terms of the money. So people only paid 200 Canadian bucks for the whole series that now costs 350 Canadian bucks.
They got a fat
They got a
discount.
good discount.
They did. But I can't, I'm not going to be saying it to every person who's like upset that we're not meeting the deadline. I'm not going to be like, hey, you're actually getting a huge discount. No, you're right. You should have gotten all of this faster. This is correct.
Wait, did you notice Anna was like, let's not say anything. It's the way we.
As I knew, you're
then she
opening a
watched.
Pandora box.
Now she's throwing hands. Just one super quick point. Imagine if your Christmas campaign was your first Kickstarter project. Imagine how much false hope that would have given you as to how smooth Kickstarter campaigns were going forward.
So what you're saying that it was blessing in disguise that we are suffering for 4 years and learning so
Maybe.
much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
otherwise you would have had a great time with the Christmas campaign and then still had this carnage afterwards, but without the full sense of
And
hope.
that is exactly why I said that we wouldn't have changed the thing.
There we go, full circle.
Damn.
So we do
Yeah.
have more time to talk about how hot Charlize Theron is.
Oh, yeah.
The next question is going to be, if you had an unlimited budget to create a room or tabletop experience, what would you create? But I can imagine you're just hiring her. Is that what's happening here?
No.
My
Actually,
new dream unlocked.
no. Anna has her own thing to say, I'm sure, and I have my own thing to say because we're like
What?
obsessed with 2 different ways to go after that.
Oh, okay. I am really excited to hear your thing, Lisa.
I really like puzzle books, but not like how where every page is different puzzle. No, I believe it's Anna. Help me out.
Okay, so she's in love with the series by Mystery Package Company. It's called Postmortem.
Okay.
And it's a book with a narrative, and it's a choose your own adventure essentially, but it's like with limited puzzles, which
And it's
I would
a
like to
murder
do.
mystery. Honestly, there aren't a lot of puzzles at all.
Yeah.
But it's more like more deduction, more story, and the story is actually good, and murder mystery is very, very decent, and I also enjoyed, especially the one, I believe they changed all the names because they redid these games. The one about the luchadors is my favorite one, and they also had physical components for them in the previous versions. I am not sure if they do in the current versions, but they had like a wrestling mask.
Can I
Yes.
tell my
Sorry.
my dream? Thank you.
Yours.
So I would like to take this format, add puzzles, make a baby with both of them. You know, baby puzzles and books, and choose your own adventure and physical components, and make it like a big, massive experience.
And also make it a comic book.
No, a comic book, I kind of dropped that idea. That's too hard. There is a project on Kickstarter that was promising good choose your adventure book. It was called Alba, and I did back it.
Oh yeah, that was a huge fiasco.
Yes, they also overpromised, and they didn't deliver physical books, but they did deliver.
But did they really overpromise? Something weird happened with the money there.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So they did gave us like a virtual version of books, and then I was just choose your own adventure, you know, with like couple different endings and very short paragraphs. And I want something bigger, you know, where the paragraph is not 1 page long, but like you keep reading and reading, and then the choice is hard, and then there's something from like where you keep track of certain state like stamina or health or something. And there's puzzles, yes, and there are objects that you uncover, all of that together, which is massive and big and many endings, and yes, super complex.
What you've just described there, not on a puzzle book front, but on a video game front, perfectly encaptures a series of video games called the Dark Pictures Anthologies. Yeah, definitely play them if you haven't already. They've got a game called Man of Medan, there's The Devil in Me, Little Hope.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, this is horrors. I don't play horrors, remember?
Yeah, that's the issue. These are horror games. But yeah, every decision that you make has a drastic change on the story, and like you might kill characters that are key parts to the story. It completely shifts everything. So
add puzzles, add like physical objects, and that's what I want to create.
It would be nice to have a game where the decisions you make a big difference, because with a lot of choose your own adventure things, the outcome tends to be almost the same with like a small change. It'd be nice to totally derail the story.
Yeah, I've been researching a lot of ways to create choose your own adventure, a lot of ways to build the narrative and narrative branches, and how branches are different from each other. And there is a way to make it like drastically different. It's just so complex, the book will have to look like a War and Peace. And that's what I want to do. War and Peace, but puzzles.
It sounds like my worst nightmare.
That's, I've never thought about it yet. It's just some notes and pieces and stuff.
A real life in-person choose your own adventure escape room would be very cool. It would be very expensive because you would have to make a very big game that people potentially only see like 10% of. But
I think you gave me an idea for what I want to do then with my unlimited budget. So we make the in-person choose your own adventure, but all over the world, so that we have to travel countries. And we're gonna do some kind of a narrative from like ancient Greece, Alexander the Great. We're gonna walk his path. We're gonna look at the ruins, and there are gonna be puzzles in the ruins.
Baby, the players do not have a limited budget. Only we do.
You can make it free if you wanted to.
See? So like we sponsor everybody to play it. I don't care. We just vibe. Yes. So okay. So we're gonna like ride horses there, like we're in the Macedonian army. We're gonna have shows with guitarists. So we're gonna have like beautiful women dancing for us and lots of wine and stuff at the stops.
I hear so many lawsuits.
Lawsuits don't exist, just like money.
Yeah. Just pay them off.
But why lawsuits? No, like, you know, dancers only dancing if they want to. Everything is very consensual. What are you talking about?
We've had people in the past say they just avoid all health and safety obligations by just paying very high insurance costs and just making anything possible. Like people fighting tigers.
Yeah, tigers.
Or jumping out of helicopters to get to the game.
Okay, no, we're gonna skip fighting tigers. Very like safe of beautiful people's hands.
Oh,
Drinking
Christ.
wine diluted with water like an ancient Greece.
Sounds like an orgy. Stop.
Why? No, nothing.
Escape an
Well,
orgy.
I mean,
That's
no.
what you
If
just
someone wants
created.
to, we can say no to them. But yo, you don't like it? Seriously, it's free, no money.
Not sure if this is going down the dream escape room route or just the
Yeah.
dream
No, but
route.
there are
I
puzzles.
know,
Told you there are
like-
puzzles. So many puzzles. Very good.
I just want to chill.
Where are these
drink,
puzzles
and
at,
look
Anna?
at beautiful people.
Okay, you don't like my
So
idea.
my
Okay.
ultimate escape room is just hot women. Thank you. That's all.
Hot women, guitars, and horses.
Yeah, they will feed me grapes. They will bring me wine.
I cannot, you guys. There was nothing scandalous about what I said. Just grapes and wine.
Where's the single puzzle, baby?
No, but I told you so many puzzles, very good ones, like
Who
ruins.
would want to escape that? So everybody would just stay there.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, so we're escaping the reality then with a beautiful adventure that lies ahead of
You
us.
have to keep solving puzzles to stay in the room. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
get kicked out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You only progress to the next point if you solve the puzzle. So there's a lot of puzzle solving and then super fulfilling parties and stuff.
Oh, Jesus. Here we come again.
That's a cool premise for an escape room, to be fair. If you had like a certain amount of puzzles that you had to solve within a set time, but if you ran out of time for the section you were on, you couldn't proceed to the next one. I think that would be an interesting concept.
They're kind of harsh like that in Scarlet Envelope as well. I probably didn't send you a game with an extra puzzle for the hints, or maybe I did. I don't know.
You did. I
I did.
remember having to solve one of the puzzles. I got really frustrated at one puzzle and I was like, I need the hint. And then it was like, so good luck. You need to solve this puzzle first. I was like,
How did you
help.
feel about that? Because this is like a super questionable decision that we made.
I enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Good. There are people who are upset at us that they need a hint and there's an extra puzzle to get to the hints. And sometimes they also
me.
well, yeah, it's harsh. It's rude. It's not how it's supposed to be done.
But the puzzle was the right level of difficulty. Like the puzzle to get the hint wasn't super hard. So like it was enjoyable in the sense that you could just solve it and then you got on with it. But it's not to the point where you're like, wow, I'm solving the Da Vinci Code to get the answer to a maths question.
But still, some players called us in emails that this is not supposed to be this way. And the hints, the hints. Well, the problem is also there is one puzzle that, well, I mean, we redid it already a little bit, but for a long time, the puzzle kind of sucked. So that was really our fault. And there were a lot of people emailing us being like, I can't solve this stupid puzzle and stuff. Eventually,
You talking Greek game?
I know I'm actually talking the Cabaret in Lapin Blanc.
Oh, that one is easy.
Well,
yeah, here comes the puzzle nerd to tell everyone that it's not hard enough.
Yeah, because it's the second game, so like, we didn't have a good feeling of what a puzzle that is too hard.
Appropriate level.
Yeah, appropriate for game 2 for the hints puzzle, but we changed it, and in game 9 there was a little issue with it as well, so it happens sometimes. It's just because we really need to make sure that people are not frustrated, right? Even though it's something that is kind of harsh to them, still we don't want them to be frustrated. So we tend to make decisions like that sometimes, maybe because we're already like catering to enthusiasts specifically, and we're already saying that the games are pretty hard. Like even what we call the starter level is a really super misleading name. It's not a beginner's level at all. It's starter in terms of in our series, you want it to be a little more chill. It's still not easy. It's just maybe holding your hand sometimes when you're solving a meta puzzle or something, but it's never easy with us.
Which is exactly what we want as enthusiasts.
Talking of enthusiasts, so what are the plans for the future? Can you give us any teasers?
So we're working on this one great adventure where you ride horses and eat grapes. So stay tuned to the pre-launch pages coming. Nope. Actually, wouldn't you back it? Like if there was a chance, eh?
100%.
I mean, if I got a holiday out of a dead discounted escape room, I'd be game.
Well, okay. So that's the part where I do like a promotion, but make it sound not super salesy. Here it goes. We're gonna launch another set of Christmas cards with puzzles this October if everything goes well. So we already have 3 amazing, okay, super humble, but I really do love them. Folded greeting cards that are each a charming game of about 40 minutes long, packed with puzzles of all kinds. So we have visual puzzles, we have riddles, ciphers, logical problems, and because
Math puzzles, sudokus.
no, none of that. Because the cards are folded, so we have this flexibility to make something like you slide the back of the page on top of the cover and something reveals itself, things like that. Or like you look at the back and then you look at the front. So we have surfaces, and we have a lot of experience with putting a lot of puzzles on paper-based items and still make it exciting. So this year what we decided to do is we decided to create more cards, but in a postcard format this time, to make more bite-sized kind of coffee break sort of experiences that are maybe a little bit on the easier side, just because we have less puzzles. We don't have a poem inside like in the greeting cards, but we make them, well, the same illustrator is illustrating them, so they're gonna be like super cute, super quirky, super lovely looking, very giftable, but they're also gonna be good for your friends who are not maybe enthusiasts yet, but you want them to get interested and you want them to get curious. Because what we found is that the enthusiasts gift these cards, right, on Christmas. So they play them themselves first and then they give them. And so we already have like more difficult cards created. Now we also gonna have options for those who want to give these cards to like their mother, to their niece, to a friend who's new. And there's going to be a hidden system online, a mobile-friendly website with the hints and everything. And we're still going to include a harder puzzle in there as well, going to snatch it for the enthusiasts. We are very excited for it. We really hope that you're gonna love it. We are working on the pre-launch page right now, and when this episode goes live, there should be a link to the pre-launch page available already, and we really welcome you to follow it and stay tuned for the launch, because when we launched, we're gonna have the early bird discount with the best prices, with the best options. The shipping should be very affordable because it's just postcards, so we're gonna have an option for letter mail. We're gonna ship way ahead of the holidays. End of November is when our shipping cutoff is. So even if you just get the letter shipping that is not tracked, even that is going to come in time. What else? We're going to have reviews from trusted reviewers and fellow escape room creators. We're going to have weekly puzzles during the campaign. It's going to be fun. Join us.
Can't wait.
And another thing to mention is that, well, the best news ever that we can share with everyone is that the Scarlet Envelope series is finished as well. And now all that is left is to ship the games to you. And so that is why we feel comfortable creating more Christmas cards and expanding our series. So there's going to be news on that as well very soon. And hopefully you all are going to have everything shipped to you by the time the holidays come.
Yay.
That means everyone gets to open their presents on Christmas Day and find a Scarlet Envelope.
Yeah.
So, for all of our listeners that are tuned in and wanting to know more, where can our listeners find you?
Our website is scarletenvelope.ca or scarletenvelope.com. It's the same thing, you choose. We're also very active on social media, especially on Instagram. You can find us at scarlet.env, because unfortunately @Scarlet Envelope was already taken by someone that's not even using it. If you're listening right now, I'll
Please
buy it.
sell it to us.
Yes, reach out. We will probably buy it. Where are you? We're waiting for you. It's been for years. Well, we're also on TikTok, but it's mostly just cringy videos of me trying to understand what goes viral. So, join, but it's fine if you don't. And we're also on Facebook, but I mostly just post like reviews from different reviewers there, which is also fun. And we're also active in Puzzle People on Facebook. If you know this community well, you probably gonna find us there when we launch. And yeah, just join the community. It's a great place to find reviews for games. Where else can you find us? You can find us in Montreal. We live in Montreal. Reach
Don't
out
come to our
wherever
house. That's
you're.
weird.
Don't come to our house. That's weird. But definitely feel free to message and be like, hey, I'm on an escape room tour or something. Or like if we know each other, just like don't be shy. We're just two people. We're not some big company. We're always like to make new friends, especially in the escape room community. If you're fellow creators that want to collaborate, also reach out. If you're other podcasts that want us there, also reach out. Just everybody reach out. Don't hesitate.
What a wonderful way to round it off. You guys have been an absolute pleasure both to deal with in terms of getting this going and obviously organizing everything. And yeah, if other podcasts are listening, please do get both Anna and Lisa on. It's been absolutely fantastic from start to finish.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to be here and such a fun conversation to have. Questions were great. And like, I think I had such a fun time.
Good.
It was all right.
Wow,
was.
It
okay.
was all right.
Different opinions from Lisa. Let's see how it is.
Easy.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. Obviously, please do go check out Scarlet Envelope, support their Kickstarter. There will be hopefully a link in the show notes on how to support the Kickstarter. If you haven't already, you can obviously follow them on Kickstarter as well. As always, thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, please do give it a 5-star review on both Apple, Spotify, whichever platform you listen on. It would be greatly appreciated. Helps us get out to other listeners and helps us get incredible creators in front of other listeners as well. So, as always, thank you so much, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
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 Perfect.